I'm 9 News reporter Brandon Ritteman on the scene of breaking news in Aurora right now. A late night, apparently multiple shooting incident at a movie theater in Aurora. I'm going to step out of the shot so that we can show you exactly where we are. We are on the northeast side of the Century 16 theaters, which are in the town center of Aurora. Multiple shots were fired there, we are being told by several witnesses, sometime after the midnight showings of the Dark Knight Rises movie began tonight. Several people have been observed injured by some of the folks that we've been talking to out here. We are still waiting for police to confirm any numbers or details of exactly how many folks were shot or whether someone is still on the loose. I can tell you there's a helicopter out here actively searching for somebody, and we've just seen resources pouring in all night, police vehicles, ambulances coming in and out, and most recently several city buses coming in, we believe to be used as triage or to help people leave the scene. But crowded theaters for a highly anticipated movie, and I do have someone who was in one of the theaters. There were 3 showings shortly after midnight. Alex Milano is joining me, and Alex, you were in Theater 8, which was the 12:01 showing. Tell me when you realized something was up.
Well, we were watching a scene of the movie. It was a shootout scene. There were guns firing, and then a loud bangs came from the right of the theater. Smoke took over the entire theater and everything, and it was really thick, and no one could really see anything. Me and my sister were sitting there wondering what was going on.
You actually thought it might be part of the movie?
Yeah, me and a friend of mine who I had just met that night. Tonight we were talking about it, and we thought, special effects, midnight showing, that's awesome. What theater does that anymore? And and then it was after a while that I started to get a little bit more curious about it, and I turned and I looked at the wall, and there were people starting to stand up and starting to leave, and me and my sister and my friends, we were wondering what was going on, what was happening, and then at that point I saw something come through the wall. Multiple objects just flow through the wall. I saw holes in the walls and everything. And
from Theater 9, which was next door.
Yeah, right.
And that's where you think everything, the center of this was.
Yeah, that's where I assume everything came from. That's where I've had people tell me it was happening.
Okay. And people got hit in your theater.
Yeah, people stood up and started checking themselves. A couple of people were walking away holding areas, and I heard moaning like they were in pain. And that's when I started to get worried. And we didn't really know something was happening until someone came from the left entrance and told us that we shouldn't go outside because there was a guy with a gun out there.
I spoke with another man who was in your theater who said that he thought some kind of firecrackers or something inside the theater went off, and that was the source of the smoke. Does that gel with what you observed? Or?
We had plenty of people telling us that someone were throwing pepper bombs. I guess it's a firework. It's blinds, it disorients, and it tastes nasty. But yeah, they thought it was pepper bombs, and
there was some kind of acrid smoke that you smelled.
Yeah, it was very thick. It was choking me. I couldn't breathe at all. And then that's when the alarm started to sound, and that's when we knew things were serious. And as soon as the alarm sounded, everyone stood up, and then we started making our way for the exit.
And I want to be clear, you said to me that you're trying to just help people understand, get our heads around the magnitude of what happened in here today. But you spoke with someone who was in Theater 9 where you think the shooter was, and tell me what that person told you.
Well, yeah, like I said, I don't want to upset anybody by anything that I say, but I just don't feel like anybody should be kept in the dark about what happened. The witness that was in Theater 9 was a young woman. She was talking to me. I had asked her what theater she was in, and she said 9, and I just asked her if she saw anything or if anything happened. What she described, at first I didn't translate it quite well. It sounded like madness to me. She said that a man about 6 feet tall, taller than her, kicked through the door, and he was in she said a riot helmet. She said had a bulletproof vest on. She said that he was completely covered in all black with goggles. And she said that after that point, when she saw that he was holding a shotgun, her and her boyfriend dropped to the floor and just kind of started to crawl to see if they could get away. They got up and they started to run through the emergency exit. She said that when she turned around, all she saw was the guy slowly making his way up the stairs and just firing.
People.
Just picking random people.
Now, you said to me that you observed several people who had been wounded in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I saw at least 4, maybe 5 people that were limping, wounded, slightly bloody. The most that I saw was a girl who was pretty much covered in blood, and she didn't have any wounds on her. So, I mean, it made me think the worst.
Yeah, you've got a lot of horrible images in your mind right now, and I know you said one of the most powerful for you, you saw a little girl.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know whose little girl that was, but I mean, my heart goes out to them. I mean, I honestly hope that they're okay. And I hope that, the little girl is okay and she recovers and everything. But a cop came walking through the front door before everyone was cleared up and before everything was completely under control. A cop came walking through the door holding a little girl in his arms, and she wasn't moving. I had heard another witness who was in my theater, someone else that I was talking to before the movie. We were waiting in line for it. She was on the phone, and the really messed up part for me was she told whoever she was talking to that she saw bullet holes in the little girl's back. And I mean, I honestly can't think of any kind of person who would intentionally hurt a little girl. So I mean, it unfortunately makes me think that she just got caught in the crossfire.
And I mean, how crowded was the theater? I mean, this was an anticipated film.
Yeah, we had 2 lines open, one on one side of the theater, the other on the other side. It's crazy to think that I could have been in Theater 9, because as soon as we heard the first shots, my sister immediately grabbed my arm and wanted to leave as quick as possible. Yeah, it was terrifying.
So, I mean, going through your mind right now is just, you're just trying to take all this in.
Well, as the older brother, you kind of, you tell yourself in your mind over and over and over again, don't lose your mind, don't lose your head, keep calm, and keep, stress-free, so that way you can help the ones who can't. My little sister, unfortunately, was one of those, and I mean, she was in tears, shaking, gripping as tight as she could to my arm and not letting go, because where I went, she wanted to be close to me. And it's the scary thought that runs through your mind that you have to do everything it takes to keep her safe, and at the same time you're worrying about everybody else.
Before I let you go, last thing I have for you is, do you know anything about whether this individual might have been taken into custody or anything? Have you heard anything from police?
I know for the next half hour, at the very least, maybe 45 minutes, that both theaters sat outside in the immediate parking lot right out front and waited for any kind of sign. We saw plenty of stretchers go in. We saw, the unfortunate little girl. We saw people walking out still bloodied. And we saw people getting assisted out. And I mean, from what we know, he didn't get caught. We didn't see anything like that. Me and the people that I was talking to before the movie, we pretty much said, if we see someone comes out in handcuffs, we doubt he's going to make it to the car. There were so many people angry and yelling and, ready to do harm onto the guy that did all this. I mean, it's unthinkable almost.
So you were on lockdown for a while out there in the parking lot. They just let you go?
Yeah, they about an hour later, after everything had happened, they said that our car is actually parked in the immediate parking lot. We're
not
in the back
row.
row. Yeah, we have to wait till about noon tomorrow to go and get a car. But I mean, yeah, it was crazy.
All right, Alex Milano in Theater 8, thank you very much for your time. Best wishes to you and your sister. I hope you guys have as good a night as you can. Thank you for joining us and talking with us. So I appreciate your time.